Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. I hope that everyone is having a wonderful New Year's Day. It's most people's day off. So I hope you're doing it. Hope you're spending it with your family or something that you enjoy. I've spent most of my morning cleaning and doing laundry, which I need to get done because the next 3 days I work long days. So I don't get those things done when I need to. No, I don't get those things done those days, so I have to get them done now because that's what I need to. I wanted to get on here and talk to you guys today about a few things, but there is a star to this little haul. And that is the Makeup by Mario SEPHORA collaboration. And this, I'm assuming, was like a long time in the making. I'm surprised he didn't actually come out with his own brushes, and I'm actually really surprised he hasn't come out with his own makeup brand, to be honest. I'm sure that that's coming, which will be really interesting with how that kind of affects working with Kim Kardashian, considering she has a makeup brand. But I guess maybe it really shouldn't because her sister also does. But Mario is her makeup artist. He's her employee. And so hopefully as an employer and as a good friend to him, she will support him in that endeavor, if that is to ever happen. But this was really, really awesome. I don't think Kim Kardashian, no, she doesn't really have brushes. She's got like those dinky little double-ended things she came out with. And I only say dinky because that's like one of the only things that she has ever come out with that I really don't like, is her brushes. I love her makeup. I love her under eye brightener. I love her, I use her cream concealer sticks. I've already actually run out of one of them and repurchased it. I have almost all of her eyeshadow palettes except for two. And I have a bunch of her lipsticks, which I use regularly. I adore her lipstick brand. I think that, and her lip gloss brand, they're not sticky. They just feel really nice and moisturizing on the lips. I hate sticky lip glosses, and I don't find her sticky at all. And they look beautiful. They look nice and juicy. I haven't, even though this color in particular, which is a rose gold, came in a kit with 2 lipsticks, I have never used them. Anyways, why am I rambling? I do that in every freaking video, dude. Okay. Back to the star of the show, Makeup by Mario. So this is the complexion brush set, which came with 2, 4, 6 brushes, a powder brush, a foundation brush, a cheek brush, a contour brush, a highlight brush, and a concealer brush. And really, to be perfectly honest, I saw the eyeshadow brushes and I just was not interested. This is what caught my eye. And so it comes with a case, which is really a nice touch. And then they come like this. I mean, they don't come like this. They come inside the box, and then the case comes packaged in the back of the brushes. So this is what it looks like. The brushes are extremely soft. They feel, well, first of all, I am a huge fan of Sephora's brushes. I think that they have a they're pro brushes anyways, because their brushes used, like back in the day, were garbage. I'm glad that they fired whoever was making those and hired someone new, because I have chosen their brushes over high-end brushes multiple times because they actually like perform very, very well. So I was not too hesitant to buy these. I would have even bought them online, but I actually ended up going into the store because I was already at the mall and I was able to get a feel for them, like touch them and see what they were like. And that's where I made the final decision that I didn't really want the eye brush set, because it isn't anything I don't already have, and they didn't feel like anything that that would make me look like Kim Kardashian. Like, so I wasn't like super like, oh my gosh, I have to have those. I'm really trying to do my best at only getting things that I know I'm gonna use. Where in the past, I was really, really bad about just getting stuff just because of all the hype. So I know that the face brushes, which are my favorite brushes to buy, I was more likely to use these than the eyeshadow brushes. So this is a powder brush. It is a pretty good size. It is definitely not the biggest powder brush that I own. I think the biggest powder brush that I own face-wise is probably the Scott Barnes face brush. And that one, I hope that is not as loud to you guys as it is to me, because I don't know why my daughter would do that knowing I'm recording a video. All right, so as I was saying, the largest face brush that I have is definitely, I think it's called the Face Brush by Scott Barnes. So that one is, it's a huge brush. I love it. It's also synthetic, so I feel like they could play two different roles in your brush collection if you own them both. If you don't, I would say this is probably a better brush for a beginner, because his brush is literally going to take up half of your face. So if you are a beginner at brushes and haven't purchased a whole lot and don't own a lot of brushes, this is actually a pretty decent deal. The whole brush set, including the case, is $69. And the eyeshadow set, if I'm not mistaken, is $49. So this is pretty good. I mean, the brush is really, really soft. I haven't obviously used these yet, so I don't know how they pick up product. I will say that my favorite brushes that pick up the product the best are natural hair brushes, so my Refer brushes. But those are also, I mean, my bronzer brush from that brand costs more than this whole entire set. So I would recommend, if you're a novice to makeup and you're just kind of getting into it and you want something nice, this is definitely going to satisfy that for you. I feel like it will pick up the product pretty well. Like I said, I haven't used it, so I don't know for sure. I can't imagine that Mario would put out some crappy brushes, because he doesn't have to. You know what I mean? Like, he can put out some good ones, and at a decent price, especially with someone backing him like Sephora. So, oh my gosh, that is the worst. That's for another day. Anyway, the next brush in this collection is the foundation brush. Looks like this, and I'm just kind of giving you like the size comparison, even compared to a sponge. It's really little, and this would take me forever to do my foundation. So what I'm gonna end up using this brush for is definitely for blending out cream contour. Those synthetic brushes are my favorite type of brushes to use for that. So I'm definitely going to use this brush for that, because I can already tell this is going to do that job excellently. It's stiff enough where it's gonna blend it out, but it's not so stiff that it's gonna blend it away or leave it patchy. It's got a good density to it, but it's still soft, where it's gonna leave it nice and airbrushed looking when you blend it out. Very nice brush. One of my favorites in this collection. Okay, the next one is the cheek brush, which I'm actually really confused as to what he means by the cheek brush, because I have a brush that is actually similar to this by Morphe, and I use it with the KKW under eye highlighting brush. It is literally the same size as this brush, and that's the reason why I use it, because it's so little. This, I do not have a big face. Maybe I do look like it on here. I don't. And this would be way too small to use as a cheek brush. I could use this maybe as a highlighter, but I think it's almost too big for that. So the only thing that I think I could use this for is the same thing I use the Morphe brush for, which is doing the under eye brightening powder by KKW or whatever brand I happen to be using. Because it is way too small to use as a blush brush. Way too small. You're gonna get too much color deposited onto this brush, and then when you go to use it on your cheek, it's gonna go and you're gonna have to blend that out. And not all cheek blushes are easy to blend, especially depending on what you're putting them on top of. It can also be used as a blender for your contour. I mean, it would work both ways. All right, this one is the contour brush. Oh, oops. Okay, so this is a brush that I would use for powder contour. It would fit really, really nicely in the contours of my cheeks. I think that this brush would do well. It's a nice size for that. It's also not too flimsy, but it's also soft enough where you're not gonna get too much. Possibly, I have to use it first to know, because sometimes when these brushes are this little and kind of this dense, you can get too much of contour powder deposited into one spot, and then you're spending forever trying to blend that out. So I will have to use this to find out, but with a heavy hand, yeah, this will do the job. I mean, I'm sure 90% of us, 99.9999568 own a brush shaped like this. It is super soft. It is really nice. If you don't own a brush like this, well, it's in this collection. Okay, the next brush is the concealer brush, and I knew that before I even read it. So I could see this as maybe a cut crease brush, not so much a concealer brush. It is not big enough for me to use that way. I like more of a, let's see if I can find what I would use as a concealer brush. Voila. This is what I would use for a concealer brush, because this will get into the crevices of my eye and it will blend things out and leave things very, very super soft and airbrushed. I like this for that. This is way too small and it'll take me way too long. And I don't do that whole like YouTube, Instagram triangle. I use concealer under my eye sparingly where I need it, how I need it, to cover what I need it to cover. So, but this actually lets me get a lot of use out of a little bit of product, if that makes sense. So it spreads it out farther. Whereas I feel like this would take forever. Like, look how little this brush is, forever. This would be a perfect cut crease brush, because on top of being super little, it has a very thin end to it. So it would work really, really well. Also for cleaning up eyebrows, it would do a really good job for that, because it is a super thin brush and the end of it is very, very, very tapered, as you can see. So another, you know, but brushes don't have rules. They're multi-use. You can use them for whatever you want, I think, anyway. I hear most people say that. Last but not least is the highlighter brush, and that looks like this, which I think this would be fine. The highlighter brush that I use is definitely a teeny tiny bit bigger than this, just because I like it to be more of a diffused highlight, not a super concentrated line, and this is pretty dense. So I think that you'll get a lot of product in one spot, which, let's try it. I'm not going anywhere today. So this is the Jaclyn Hill highlight. I was gonna use this Kylie one, but this is literally the worst highlight I've ever purchased in my life, which is Quartz. I have other ones from her that are beautiful. This one sucks. I mean, if you see what I mean, it is super concentrated, whereas I prefer something a little bit more diffused, so you don't know where the highlighter has began and where it ends. It's just kind of like a glow. This one is a little too dense for that. This brush I would actually probably more likely use as a concealer brush, because it is about the same size as the one that I like for concealer. So, you know, like I said, brushes don't have any rules. You can use them whatever you want. My final thoughts on this brush set are, they're super soft. I feel like they were very nicely made. I have not used them, so I cannot speak on, you know, if they shed. Just playing with them and touching them and kind of pulling on them, I haven't noticed any shedding. I haven't noticed any uneven hairs that look like they're about to fall out. The softness of the brush is heavenly. They remind me a lot of the IT Cosmetics brushes in the way that they feel. And IT Cosmetics is one of my favorite synthetic brands for brushes. I don't really care too much for them as far as their makeup, but their brushes are awesome, which I think is what's actually keeping their brand alive. I think that it is, I think it's worth the price, because you can use them for multiple things. So if you buy this brush set because you don't have brushes, you're gonna get a multiple use brush set that you'll be able to use for contour, highlight, bronzer, concealer, cut crease. You'll get it for a lot. You'll get your use out of this brush set. So yes, I think that it is worth the $69, considering that it is also by Mario, which he could have probably named his price and charged whatever he wanted, and Sephora would have backed him. Like I said, I can't really speak on the eyeshadow ones because I don't have those. I think it's really cute. I think that Mario is super, super talented, so the brushes are obviously going to be great brushes for synthetic. He also had a put a cute little message in here, and it said, "I'm excited to share with you my limited edition brush set in collaboration with Sephora. I worked tirelessly to perfect each brush in this collection, and I can't wait for you to try them all. I hope you love this special collection as much as I do." And he signed it. So this is originally how it came. So this is where all the brushes were, and then the brush holder was in the back. And then, you know, it's very sleek, very nice packaging. It's really cute. I mean, if I had like, you know, a mansion, I would keep the packaging. I don't really have any space for it. And because it came with a case, I don't really feel the need to keep the box. So yeah, that is my thoughts on the Makeup by Mario and Sephora collaboration. So if it is in your budget and you have been searching for some nice quality synthetic brushes, these are definitely not gonna disappoint. So go ahead and check them out. Head to your local Sephora and kind of feel them out for yourself, and then you'll be able to tell like really how you feel about them. Because I feel like brushes are a real personal thing, as far as like if you like synthetic, how you like the density, how you know, all of that stuff. So, and I'm pretty sure that everything that he does is vegan and cruelty free. They are vegan and cruelty free, yeah. Not tested on animals, made with synthetic hair. So, yeah, and then the box is recyclable. So, alright guys, I think that is pretty much all I have to say. So, I will see you guys all in the next one.